Hello everyone and Assalamu alaikum. This is Introduction to Psychology Part 1 by Dear Knowledge. Okay, last time we have successfully completed the Part 1 of Lesson 1, and from this video we will be starting the Lesson 3, the Part 2 of Lesson 3, and in this video we will be discussing about the direction of attention or the determinant of attention or conditions, you can say factors of attention. So from this video, you will come to know what are the factors which distract your attention and what are the factors which grab your attention or get your attention to a particular task or any object. So let's start with today's video. Let's talk about the direction of attention or determinants of attention or conditions, or you can say factors of attention. So though our attention has the property of being shifted from one object to another or from one part of the object to another, and it has certain orderliness too, and had there been no orderliness, it could not have been possible to carry out any concentrated activity. So there are certain principles that determine the direction of our attention, and these principles are called the principle of attention. So the principle of attention getting, or you can say principle of attention getting. Yes, the principle of attention getting. So these principles govern what will be perceived and what will not be perceived, or will it be dimly or vaguely perceived, and such principles are of great practical significance. And in education, a teacher's foremost task is to win pupils' attention, and in advertising or selling, the attention of a prospective buyer needs to be attracted before the product is sold. And similarly, in most of our everyday situation, one needs to bring into his focus of attention, or in his focus, the significant objects. Now, many factors influence the direction of our attention, and these factors are generally classified as external and internal factors. So external factors are also termed as stimulus or objective factors, while the internal factors are also termed as subjective, or you can say personal or organismic factors. So we'll be starting with the external factors, and then we'll discuss the internal factors. So in external factors, we'll be discussing the perpetency, change, size, repetition, and movement. So external factors that are those factors that govern attention getting may be considered under 5 major head: the perpetency, the change, size, repetition, and movement. So let's start with the perpetency. Now, some stimuli are present, you can say intense enough to draw our attention more readily than those which are relatively weak or less potent. Now, for example, a loud sound, brighter light, strong smell, etc. are prepotent over low sound, dim light, thin smell, and etc. Now, similarly, saturated colors over pastel shades, deep pressure or smooth pressure are prepotent to draw our attention. Now, such prepotencies do not necessarily depend upon relative strength of competing stimulus, nor does it depend upon past experience. Now, prepotency is a stimulus characteristic. Now, however, if two stimulus are competing for drawing attention, the one that is more prepotent or the one that is more potent will draw our attention first than the other one. So this was all about the prepotency or prepotency for of our attention. So the next one will be the change. Now, living beings are usually sensitive to change, and change in stimuli may take any form, from one place to another, or from one color to another, or you can say to sudden increase or decrease in intensity, atmospheric changes, appearance or disappearance of the stimuli, high to low or stationary to moving, and so on. So such changes in the stimuli attract our attention. And for example, if two persons are whispering together in quiet atmospheric, and in the middle somewhere someone suddenly shouts, now the shouting man draws the attention of whispering person, and they can sit up to take notice. Now this was all about the change, and the next one is about size. Now, size of the stimulus too has the potency to draw our attention, and this is the reason some advertisers favor full-page advertisements, and however, there are some other interrelated factors also which determine our attention. Now, even a full page size may suffer by its neatness, clumsiness, lack of dexterity, and etc. Now, the main principle is that the size of the stimuli which appear more to the perceiver's interest and needs, or has more striking use of colors, are more pronounced in determinants of attention. And then the next one is about repetition. Now, repetition is also an important determinant of attracting attention. And for example, if a misspelled word repeatedly occurs in a page, it is likely to be noticed more readily than if it occurs seldom. So a weak stimuli also become effective if it is repeated time again and again. So manufacturers and politicians repeat their advertisements again and again, so as to catch the attention of the people. Now, repetition is advantageous in two ways. First, the repeated stimuli has a better chance of catching our attention at least once when we are inattentive. And secondly, repetition increases our sensitivity or alertness to the stimuli. Now, however, repetition has certain limitations too. Our repetition sometimes leads to monotony, and but if the stimulus is repeated at a regular interval with some variations or changes in style, design, or color, etc., now it can, or it makes the stimuli more prominent, and of course the quality, it acquires the quality of drawing attention. Now the next one is about movement. Now, living beings are also sensitive to movement or motion, and as such, moving objects requires the property of catching our attention. Now, our visual mechanism are involuntarily attracted to moving objects, and it is the movement of their enemies that catches the attention of our soldiers during the night patrolling. But it becomes difficult for them if the enemies are stationary or not moving, or they're not making any kind of movement. Now, in the field of advertising, the most effective signs are those that involve movement. Okay, so this was all about the external factors of attention. So let's talk about the internal, or you can say organismic, or you can say subjective determinants or factors of attention. Now, besides external or stimulus factors, internal factors too are equally, and in some cases even more important determinants of attention. And these factors are cognitive factors that include motives, interest, set, or expectancy, etc. Now, we will be discussing these terms one by one. So let's start with the motives and interest. Now, motives and interest are more important factors in attracting attention or distracting our attention. So, motives and interest, they predispose a person not only to be attracted to, but in holding the object. Now, for example, advertisers use shapely girls in bathing suits or as models, even though the advertiser products such as cigar, two-wheelers, etc. are nowhere related to them. Not only the basic needs or motives, any of the great variety of human motives and interests are important in directing our attention. And for example, an unemployed youth or an unemployed person first open the page of newspaper where the vacancies of job appear. Now, a person interested in the sports even selectively pay attention or pay his attention on the page where the sports or event news appear. Then the next one is about set or expectancy. Now, set or expectancy also plays an important role in determining the direction of attention. And for example, an anxiously waiting mother gets attracted to the sound of footsteps of a passerby, presuming the arrival of her son. And similarly, a doctor is usually found to hear the sounding of bell, expecting the arrival of a patient, ringing of telephone during the night, is expected to be a call, but may fail to hear the sound of his baby. Now, a zoologist is for example, a zoologist, if knows beforehand that he would be asked some questions on birds' life while walking, he would be attentively gathering information about birds. Now, when drawing as, for example, these are the factors that these draw our attention, or because of these factors our attention gets distracted. So these are the factors which change the direction of our attention. Now, the next one will be the social suggestion. Now, in general, we tend to attend what is pointed out directly and indirectly by others. And this is so because we have had enjoyed many satisfaction and avoided discomforts or injuries in the past, acting on suggestions by the others. Now, for example, if you go to shop to buy something and watch that other person has just rejected a piece of the item you needed or you intended to buy and has asked to show him different piece, now you too ask the same salesman to do the same and reject the piece that was already rejected by the other buyer. Now, here the action of the previous customer contains implicit suggestion, and accordingly it determines your reaction to perceive the piece that was rejected or that is rejectable. Now, we find that our attention is determined by several external and internal factors, and among these, the set and expectancy are perhaps the most important factors because these are the cognitive factors of the individual concerned that direct the order and succession of our perceptual experience. So this was the end of for today's video, and this was the end of the Introduction to Psychology Part 1. And if you have any question, you can ask us in the comment section, and I'll also make a separate chapters of each chapter, yes, separate chapters for your ease in a single playlist. And if you want to revise your Introduction to Psychology Part 1, you can simply go to the playlist and visit all those chapters of Introduction to Psychology Part 1. Plus, you can also visit my website, yourknowledge.com. From there, you will get all those lessons in a proper sequence. So this was the end of the video. If you like the video, your concept is clear, you can like the video and you can subscribe to our channel. If you're new to this channel, click on the bell icon to stay notified whenever our video is uploaded. You will never ever miss any notification. You can share the link of this video with your family members and friends because sharing is caring. And we will be uploading our Introduction to Psychology Part 2. And till then, Allah Hafiz.